The most important thing over pre-season for us is that we show a competitiveness. That's a huge part of who we are. Getting the lads out there and competing against each other, that's they love that. They enjoy doing that. It pushes them that extra mile. The other thing is understanding the way that we play, and we're a team that wants to play with collective speed, and that has two or three components to it, three components to it that are really important to develop over the pre-season. The first one is clarity around the systems that we have, and building a base, which the coaches are doing a really good job at the moment. Rugby's fully integrated in our programme from day one. It's the system that we use. It works well for us. Secondly, when you play with collective speed, it's a tough game to play for a period of 80 minutes. So it's no good if we can't perform the skills at the start and the end of the match. So the skills work is very important. So we'll break down the components of the game that are important to us, and Dan Soper takes a lead on that in attack, and Jared in the defensive side of things, working alongside the athletic performance. And the third component is the athletic ability, which in a traditional pre-season would have been the preeminent component. It's just one of the components that we have, but it's absolutely critical if we want to be able to play faster and longer, that the lads are able to do that. And probably most importantly is that they're able to train consistently. Building the robustness to train consistently is absolutely imperative, and it's an absolute imperative for us as a coaching team that we create training that is harder than the game. It's got to be real, but harder than the game. It's really good to have fresh faces coming in. Roddy brings energy. He brings a lot of new ideas, and I think the lads are really taking to his coaching. Obviously, with the new players coming in, it's the same thing. They bring information from where they come from. We have in terms of the organisation learning, it's really important that we get that information in. We're always looking towards the outside, but when we can actually bring it in flesh and blood, then that's terrific. Bill Johnson's had a good start, and he was already voted as the leader of his team, which I think was a bit of a shock to him, but he's done really well. Gareth has obviously had an injury when he first came in, which is really disappointing for him. We like everybody felt for him. Like when you come in as a new player, the first thing you want to do is be able to make an impression and join in with the lads and get to know them, and it becomes more difficult. But he'll be a big part of what we do this year. We'll make sure of it. There are a number of academy players and a number of development players, and Dave O'Connor's new into the club as well, and it's his first year of professional rugby, and he's making a real impact. He's got a lot of the characteristics of his brother. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that, because Al's obviously a great player. There's a lot of dog in him. We see that in training. Like his brother, he's got a bit of bite, which is great. And we have a number of the academy players training with us at the moment, and I think they're taking the opportunity, they're relishing the opportunity to step up and learn, and it's tough for them. There's no doubt about that, but they're relishing the opportunity to be able to test themselves with the big guys. It's important to start the season well, but it'll be tough. There's no doubt about that. Both the cheaters will be, when we go out to South Africa early on, the cheaters will be off the back of a Currie Cup campaign. They won't lose any players, unlike last year when for the first half of the season they lost players. So that's going to be difficult out there. The Kings will be under a new coach. They'll have difficulties with that, obviously assimilating to his views. But and then the Ospreys first up. They're in our pool. It's a crunch match. It would be a crunch match whether it was first game or last game of the season. So in a pool where we have last year's finalists, it's very important that we're on our game the whole time. The Pro 14 doesn't get any easier with the World Cup. I think last year when we look back, we played 15 games where it finished within 8 points of the opposition, and we only lost 2 of those. So the margins are extremely fine. We lose a couple of those games and we're certainly not finishing second in our pool, so we know how tight it is. We know we're going to have to be better this year, or we won't reach the marks that we reached last year.